Hello there, people. Austin50 back again, and today I'm going to talk about one of the worst games I actually ever played, and the game's called Adios. Now, when I looked at the game, I thought, hey, this game's going to have some great promise. This game's actually going to be pretty decent. I'm going to really enjoy this game. It's going to have some interesting turn of events, which seems to never actually happen. So, the game Adios. Now, people, this probably won't be a long review, because I'm just making this review just to kind of hate on the game, simply because I absolutely hated this game and it's absolutely ridiculous. The game is called Adios. So if you ever see this game, please, people, stay away. Do not go anywhere near this game. This game is disastrous. This is a game that should never have even been created. The game is an indie game, I believe, and this is pretty much the plot. It never changes. Okay, so you move in this guy, I presume, he's like, who's a farmer. He's a farmer, okay? He's a farmer who has different animals, etc., etc., etc. Okay, and basically for many years, what he's been doing is he's been allowing the mafia to come round and feed dead bodies to his pigs because pigs seem to eat everything, which is kind of true. Okay, so one day the guy comes and it's like a routine thing, and then your guy's just like sat outside minding his own business. Then the mafia man comes, and then he's like, "Hello," and then your guy's like, "Yeah." And then he just starts chucking like dismembered parts into his pig farm because it's probably something he's been doing for many years anyway. And yeah, so basically the part of the game is your guy finally goes up to the mafia guy and goes, "I'm out. I'm finished with this." And then the mafia guy's like, What the fuck? Why? And you basically spend the whole game explaining to the mafia man why you're out. And yeah, it's the mafia guy is like pretty much he's saying, well, you can't really leave. This is like a lifestyle. You can't actually just like say I'm out. It doesn't work like that. So you already know that with your guy being out, he's going to get killed eventually because everyone knows, everyone's seen enough mafia films to know that you can't just leave the mafia or else you'll get killed because you know too much. Okay? So anyway, so I presume that your character's wife has died or something like that. That's possibly why he wants out. And he was only ever doing this to begin with because he wanted to save up plenty of cash to do X, Y, and Z. You've later find out that the character you're moving. Oh, by the way, this is a first-person game. You later find out that the character you're moving is estranged from his son. He doesn't really have anybody apart from neighbors, which are like down the road, which is kind of amazing, really, how no one's actually seen this mafia guy just randomly turn up, chucking dead bodies into the pig farm. I'm pretty sure over the years someone would have spotted this, but it turns out nobody actually has. And to be fair, there was no real point in your character like trying to get out really when you've gone into it this far. Your character wants to get out of doing this for moral reasons, I believe, in case there is a god and stuff. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm not going down that route, but your character's doing this in a way where he wants to like basically please God, I believe, and like go to heaven, etc., etc. But I still don't see the point in saying no right now because you're already this far deep into this shit, so it's pointless even trying to get out of it. You might as well just turn a blind eye and just say to the mafia man, please continue doing this, but I don't want to be around when this is happening. And I'm sure the mafia guy would have been more than happy with that reply. But no, you spend the whole game walking around. The mafia guy is trying to convince your character to still stay in. The mafia guy is pretty pissed off because it seems as though he's already had this competition numerous times with your character, but your character still seems to keep going along with it. Okay, so yeah, you just basically start off having breakfast, and then you go to this like shed where it turns out your character likes to build vending machines or some shit like that, and then you go and play this game where you chuck horseshoes over which needs to get close to this thing as possible. And then there's an interesting one. You actually do clay pigeon shooting at one point, and if you point your gun at the mafia man and pull the trigger, you don't actually kill him, but you get an achievement saying "nice try" or something like that. So you can't even kill the guy. So the game kind of sells you on this role playing element, which you believe you're going to have, and it turns out you have no role playing whatsoever. The game is a structured, linear piece of shit. You believe as you're going through the game that you can change things and make different things happen where other things are going to happen to make like some kind of final ending. That doesn't happen either. It just doesn't happen. So the game's absolutely trash. I think the game was peddling at £12 when I bought it, which is a rip-off. Basically, at the end of the game is the mafia man asks your character to leave the door unlocked to make this easy, and you're like, yeah, okay. Then you spend some rigmarole cooking yourself a final meal. You cook yourself the final meal. The car comes comes up the drive. The mafia man comes in with your pistol with the silencer on, and he plugs you. That's it. You're dead. That's the end of the game. And by the way, the ending never changes. That is the ending. There isn't any alternative endings. That is the ending. That is how the game is always going to end. Whereas when I was playing the game, I was under the assumption that it's possible my character might even try to flee. He might beg for his life. He might kill the mafia guy. He might get in touch with their strange son to come around and kill the mafia guy, and then we'll feed the mafia guy to the pigs. No, none of this actually happens. The game was made to be a linear piece of shit. There's not really any exploration either, really, apart from the farm, which is ridiculously large for one man to run, which would be borderline impossible. Yeah, that's the game. It's absolutely dog shit. I don't even know why the fuck they brought this out. It's pointless. And people are actually paying money for this piece of shit game because it's absolutely shit. But you do believe the game lets you think that it's going to be role playing, but it's kind of not role playing at all. Not anywhere near role play. There's no role playing to it whatsoever. But you think there's going to be when you start playing. You think there's going to be role playing. The game lets you actually pick items up and like spin around, look at the items as it would in like an Amnesia game. But that means nothing as well. So I don't know if you get trophies or whatnot for even just picking random shit up and looking at it. But even if you did get trophies for doing it, it's so not worth investing your time into doing that. Because let me tell you, people, I know it sounds like I'm spoiling a good game for you, but I'm not. I'm trying to save your lives. I'm trying to save your souls because this game is dog shit. It's absolutely fucking awful. This game should never have been made. It's an abomination. It's an indie game and it's cheap. It's cheaply made as well for today's standards. I played the game with the Xbox Series X, and the graphics are not even that good. The graphics are like an old school Xbox 360 2009 fucking shit graphics. They're not even that good. So I can't even say, oh, the graphics are good. And there's bugs in the game as well. You can actually get like stuck in some parts, which is absolutely ridiculous. So the game itself is ridiculous. It should never have been made. But people will pay for this game. I mean, sometimes if you look on the Microsoft Store, you might see the game is free. Good. Okay, buy it for free. You have nothing to do. And try and prove me wrong. But I'm 100% certain there's no alternative ending. Granted, you can do different things in the game, okay? You can ask certain dialogue options to create other dialogue options to do different dialogue options. If that makes sense, even though I have made that sound extraordinarily complicated. But that is something you can actually do. So your character's last moments can be either fulfilling or non-fulfilling. I didn't really get anywhere with the fulfilling stage. But there's one stage that really got me thinking. I've got like a thought that the character you're moving was definitely having an affair with the lady down the road with the way they're talking. But I had to kind of make up some kind of exciting assumption because the game was that dead. So I believe my pig farmer character was definitely boning the woman down the road, and I believe he's been boning her for many years. Probably for as many years as he's been fucking letting the mafia feed dead bodies to his pigs for. But yeah, the game is atrocious. It should never have been made. There's other games that should never have been made either, like The Veil, for example. But I'll get into that into another review. But this game, Adios, it's called Adios. Don't play it. Don't even bother playing it. It's absolutely useless. What are your like role playing dialogue changes? For your man's last meal, he can either make steak and potatoes or he can make a curry. What the fuck? That is the extent of your dialogue options. That's the extent of your role playing. What you're gonna make for your tea? What are you gonna eat for your last meal? I mean, the fuck? I'm not even. If I were the pig farmer, I'm not even gonna be bothered what I'm gonna eat for my last meal. And do you know what makes things even worse? You think there's going to be some action at one point because you go down into the basement and you actually pick up a shotgun and put it on the table. So I'm there waiting for fucking some Italian-American fucking farmer shootout, which doesn't even happen. Because the guy doesn't even pick the gun up, he just sits there with the gun on the table as if he's going to do something and he never actually fucking does. You just get killed. It's an atrocity. Who? What the... What? I mean... Even if the developers released the game 2 more years later and stuck some stuff in, that would have been better. You know, it's like you haven't even put any crunch time into this game. Excuse me, Chris, talking about this game's taking my breath away physically. No, the game's not a good game. Some people might enjoy it. If you enjoy this game, that's really good for you, I suppose. But take my word for it, this is not a game worth investing your time in, because basically what happens is the game starts, you tell the mafia guy, no, I don't want to do this anymore. Then the mafia guy walks around the farm with you trying to convince you, and no dialogue option. There's not one dialogue option that comes up where he's actually convinced you. So basically, you're never gonna. You've got like 3 dialogue options all the time, 3 or 4, and none of them make a difference. They fucking don't. Not a single one makes any difference to the outcome. So it don't matter what dialogue option you pick, you guys never gonna like be convinced by the mafia. You're just gonna annoy the mafia guy even more. Yeah. That's it. I really don't have much more to talk about this game because it was absolutely disastrous. And anyone, please do not play this game. It's shit. Awesome 50 out.